So you may have heard that Marie Antoinette said, "Let them eat cake," when she heard about the people who were starving in France.
Your Majesty, the people are starving. They have nothing to feed their children, and no bread to eat.
They don't have bread? Why, just let them eat cake.
Well, actually, there's no evidence of her saying that.
What's the deal with that?
Well, it has to do with the French Revolution.
During her husband's rule in France, people were unhappy. The economy in France wasn't doing well, and there was a lot of unrest.
Food shortages in Paris sparked a crowd of several thousand women to march from Paris to Versailles, where the royal family lived. They demanded cheap bread and that the royal family move to Paris. This was in October 1789, and it's known as the Women's March to Versailles.
Around this time is when people think Marie Antoinette said, "Let them eat cake."
But there's no evidence that she said anything of the sort. It actually seems she may have been a rather charitable person.
Oh yeah, that's right. I heard she didn't actually say let them eat cake, but instead a similar phrase. Let them eat brioche.
Brioche is a French bread that is more expensive and has different tastes and textures than traditional bread. However, it isn't dessert like you'd think of when you hear the phrase "let them eat cake."
Well, she actually didn't say that either.
So why do so many people think she did?
Well, Marie Antoinette wasn't very popular in France. From the beginning, many French people had negative opinions of her. She was also known for living a lavish lifestyle.
And this phrase makes her look very arrogant, oblivious, and out of touch by telling starving people to just eat cake.
The phrase was attributed to her in the 1870s, during the Third Republic of France, as part of an attempt to reconstruct the past. They wanted to ruin the reputation of monarchy in France as a whole. The phrase was used to hurt Marie Antoinette's reputation and legacy.
The phrase had been floating around for a while and had been used against other noble women in the past.
The first person to write this phrase may have been Jean-Jacques Rousseau. He was a philosopher who influenced the revolution. He wrote the phrase "let them eat brioche" in one of his novels, where it is said by a fictitious character who belonged to the 18th century French aristocracy.
When he wrote this novel in 1767, Marie Antoinette was only 10 and not yet married to Louis XVI of France.
Rousseau may have either made up the term himself, or he could have been referring to Marie Therese, the wife of Louis XIV of France, about 100 years before Marie Antoinette became queen.
It seems the phrase may have been floating around in different variations before this. Another time this phrase came up was in Germany, where there's a story of a 16th century noblewoman who wonders why the hungry peasants aren't eating krosem, a kind of sweet bread.
But what actually ended up happening to Marie Antoinette?
Well, in 1793, Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette were both executed by the guillotine, which was a device used in many executions during the French Revolution.
Created using Powtoon.